In recent news, a failed MAGA candidate was arrested for trying to have Democrats assassinated. The Supreme Court leaker investigation came up short. Donald Trump was fined $1 million, and apparently, George Santos is a dog-killing drag queen. I'm Gabe Sanchez, and welcome to What Was That? Solomon Pena, the election-denying MAGA Republican loser from New Mexico, was arrested for orchestrating a series of drive-by shootings at the homes of Democratic officials. So not only is Pena facing 15 charges for these shootings, but authorities are also investigating him for potentially funding his campaign with drug money. And I'm fairly confident that Pena is going to be hit with an attempted murder charge soon enough, because according to a confidential witness, Pena actually wanted these people to be shot. This whole thing feels like the plot to some straight-to-DVD movie starring Steven Seagal that involves hitmen, guns, drugs, and some Whataburger. And let's not forget who's driving the stochastic terrorism inside the Republican Party.
Me.
When Trump isn't busy on Truth Social just openly admitting to stealing classified documents and folders, he's preparing for his return to Twitter and Facebook. Trump and his advisors have been brainstorming his first tweet back. But it doesn't matter how much they write the perfect tweet, he's still gonna go off the rails complaining about Hillary, servers, emails, Biden, and probably Hunter's dick. Maybe Trump should be less focused on his first tweet back and more focused on paying Hillary Clinton and others for his completely frivolous lawsuit. A federal judge in Florida fined Donald Trump and his attorney Alina Habba for
$1 million.
And then, right after that, Trump dropped his other frivolous lawsuit against New York Attorney General Letitia James that had sought to stall her office's $250 million civil case against him and his company. Donald Trump just can't stop winning. Can't stop losing. Speaking of losers, Governor Ron DeSantis, seen here struggling to hold in a fart, celebrated Martin Luther King Jr. Day the only way he knew how, by banning an African American Studies course from Florida high schools. And the reason given was that the course is, and I quote, inexplicably contrary to Florida law and significantly lacks educational value. Definitely sounds like something a triggered whitewashing bigot would say. In other news, after an 8-month investigation, the Supreme Court says they failed to identify who leaked the draft decision overturning Roe v. Wade.
Girl.
We all know who the leaker is. His name starts with A and ends with Alito. The guy leaked the 2014 Hobby Lobby decision. But now that I think about it, the recent leaker could also be Clarence Thomas. And unsurprisingly, the Supreme Court marshal says that she spoke with each justice but did not require them to sign sworn affidavits, which means they were not formally interviewed in the same way as court staff. God forbid we hold our Supreme Court accountable and to the same level of criminal prosecution as others. And it's not only the Supreme Court that's broken, but also our Congress, specifically Republicans. They blame Democrats for the problems that they created, like the debt ceiling, for instance. While Trump was in office and Republicans controlled the House and Senate, the debt ceiling was raised 3 times, the national debt rose by $7.8 trillion, and Trump cut taxes for billionaires. And now, the Republican Party's pseudo-leader, Kevin McCarthy, has been handing out committee assignments to his loyalists like candy on Halloween. QAnon-believing insurrectionist Marjorie Taylor Greene was given seats on the Homeland Security and House Oversight and Accountability Committees. And the check-stealing fraud known as George Santos was given seats on the Small Business and Science, Space, and Technology Committees. Assigning all of these MAGA morons to committees is like hiring arsonists to run the fire department. Which brings us to this week's segment of Who the F*** is George Santos? In a scam that would put Laura Trump to shame, George Santos stole money from a disabled veteran trying to pay for his dying service dog's life-saving surgery. Santos started a GoFundMe for the dog, which raised the $3,000 needed for the surgery. And then Santos closed the account and then just disappeared. And because of what Santos did, the veteran Richard Osthoff was sadly forced to euthanize his dog Sapphire. Here he is on CNN.
If he was here now, what would you say to him? Do you have a heart? Do you have a soul? And he probably would lie about that. I don't want you to ever hurt anybody like you hurt me again, George. And nobody else should ever have to go through that. I almost killed myself when that dog died. That's why I'm here. I don't want him to be able to do this again.
And then, a former roommate of Santos revealed why he used a different name on the GoFundMe campaign.
Why did he say he had 2 names then?
Well, he used Zabrowski for his Friends of Pets United, his GoFundMe. And he would say, oh, well, the Jews will give more if you're a Jew. and so that's the name he used for his GoFundMes.
Wait, what was that?
The Jews will give more if you're a Jew.
But I guess we shouldn't be surprised when he lied about his grandparents surviving the Holocaust or the fact that he claimed to be
Jew-ish.
Actually, you know what? This whole scam reminds me of an unspoken rule in life. You don't f with people's pets, especially a disabled veteran's dying dog. That's someone's family. Not that Santos would know anything about that. I mean, the closest thing to family for Santos was when he was married to a woman while also sending out invitations to celebrate his engagement to his boyfriend. And according to his then boyfriend, the engagement party never happened because he rejected Santos's proposals. He asked me 3 times, but I didn't accept it, Villarva wrote in a text. There was never a party or anything in regards to it. And you know what else never happened? Santos's mom dying on multiple occasions, especially on 9/11 when the towers were hit. It turns out his mom was not even in New York on 9/11. She was in Brazil. And speaking of Brazil, Brazilian drag queen Eula Richard has exposed Santos and his drag alias, Katara Ravache. According to Richard, Santos is not only crazy, but he couldn't cut it as a drag queen. Richard also said Santos didn't have the glamour for it. And if you've seen the outfits that Santos has worn, I think you'd agree. Santos being in a party full of drag-hating Republicans makes this all very interesting. And awkward. Now, despite the fact that there's literally photo and video evidence of Santos in drag, he's in full denial mode, claiming it's outrageous and categorically false. And most recently, Santos denied it again.
Not a drag queen in Brazil, guys. I was young and I had fun at a festival.
So I guess by Santos' definition, it was drag. Ish. However, according to a Wikipedia post by Santos from 2011, he admitted to winning several drag pageants while he was a teenager living in Brazil. And not only that, but Santos also claimed to have a role on Disney's TV show, Hannah Montana. I wonder what she would say to George Santos.
You don't need my help to look stupid.
But just to make sure that Katara Ravache is George Santos, let's run him through my fraud facial recognition software. Just as I suspected, an exact match. The whole thing just reminds me of this scene from Ace Ventura.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn!
Well, I'm Gabe Sanchez, and this has been What Was That?